like here, over here.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, yeah. I think I'm waiting for the nod to get started here. So.
Oh, there you are.
I'm re-
I'm just thinking, how near are we being ready?
well, I'm hoping. Yeah.
I think we need to go very
Yeah,
clearly, so I would start. I don't think it. No. To be honest, I haven't seen him, so it might be better not to.
I won't. Oh, well.
He's quite distinctive, isn't he, with his bow tie? Just ask Ed's advisor. Not yet, so I think perhaps we will for the time being. Right,
Right. Good evening, everybody. Ooh, the power. I hate to bring, everyone's having so much fun and catching up here. I hate to bring that to an end, but we do need to start the formal proceedings for tonight. My name is David Stokes. I'm the Chief Executive for IBM in the UK and Ireland. And look, it's my great privilege to be able to welcome you to what is a truly special evening for us all. And I was looking through the attendees, and we really do have a tremendous cross-section, not just of our industry, but indeed our country. People from the supply side, CIOs from major corporations, SMEs, people from academia and government. A true representation of our country around a topic that we're united in, feeling passionate about, which is skills. It's my duty to start tonight and also to host you here at IBM's facilities on the South Bank. And when we were thinking, Karen and I, about where to host this event, we actually thought about this location being very appropriate because it's been emblematic of the skills journey this country has been on now for over 50 years. It was home back in the 1960s to the mainframe, which still today underpins much of our economy. It also was home to a lot of our work around the PC era, then e-business, then in the world of analytics, and our centre is next door here. And next year, we'll open one of the UK's largest digital agencies across the way on the other side of the foyer. So in many ways, it represents the journey this country's been on. But tonight is not about one company. Tonight is about all of us united around that topic of skills. And it matters for all of us, all of the companies, the institutions we represent in this room. But it matters for our country. And it matters for our country as we look to compete in the global race for digital leadership. And it also matters, most importantly, for the next generations to come as we look to create opportunities for jobs and for personal growth. That's why it matters tonight. I'd like to welcome some special guests. Of course, you're all welcome, but I'd like to particularly welcome Ed Vaizey, just to embarrass him here in the front row. But Ed has been a great supporter of ours, and it is tremendous that he can be with us here tonight for the first part of our session. Ed, of course, is the Minister for Culture and the Digital Economy, and he'll be speaking to us a little bit later. But I'm sure Ed won't be too embarrassed that I should perhaps recognise even more and welcome Karen Price. Karen has been the CEO of eSkills now for many years. She's now the CEO, of course, of the Tech Partnership. And I think it's very fair to say, and I hope you'll all join with me here, in saying that we would not be here tonight if it wasn't for the personal commitment, sacrifice, and passion that Karen has had around skills in our industry for many, many years. So Karen, I want to thank you, and I'm sure you'll join with me in thanking you for all you've done. So, to start the formal proceedings now, it's also my pleasure to be able to hand over to my good colleague and CEO of Cisco here in the UK and Ireland, and also our chairman for the Tech Partnership, Phil Smith.
So good evening and welcome, and it's amazing to have so many people here. They're cramming round the outside. There's so many people who want to be here, which is great. So the launch of the Tech Partnership, I think, is very exciting. It's part of a journey I think we've been on for a long time, as David clearly said, you know, something that Karen's been a driving force, but very much an ownership of the employers who are in here. And I think if there's one thing I can encourage you to do as you go out and evangelize after this, it's going to get more and more people involved in the partnership, because it's the power of the employers really owning this that's going to make this happen. So first of all, big thank you to David for using these excellent facilities here in the South Bank. Really tremendous, great view. Very distracting, unfortunately, for the speakers, but it's a great view.
I can't help you with that.
But nonetheless, we'll manage with that, I'm sure. And you know, really just to start our proceedings off tonight, I wanted to welcome the Minister of State for Digital Economy, which is Ed Vaizey. And I've got to say that Ed has particularly pushed out, because you know the pressures the minister are under, particularly when votes and three-line whips and so on are happening. And Ed has specifically taken out time, unfortunately has to leave pretty much straight after his speech, but is here tonight to both help us in the launch of the partnership, but also to give you some really exciting news about some of the things that the government are going to be supporting us with in the partnership going forward. So I'll hand over to Ed. Thank you very much.
Well, thanks very much. I think David and Phil have a great future in politics. You know, were they channeling their inner David Cameron? They're in a Nick Clegg. They're in an Ed Miliband. I've never done a wandering about the stage thing, and I'm still, in some ways, a very analog politician. I can't read my speech from my tablet. I'm going to read it from this piece of paper. First of all, I want to say, I want to join. I don't mind David thanking Karen Price at all. I was going to thank Karen myself. She's done a brilliant job as the head of eSkills and a brilliant job in getting us to where we are tonight. The only thing that would have been unforgivable is if you'd thanked Nick Bowles, a fellow politician and a rival, and therefore, you know, that really would have put my nose out of joint. But Karen, you deserve a huge amount of thanks. And can I also say thank you to David and Phil, who give a huge amount of their time to make these initiatives happen. They run fantastic companies that are hugely important employers in the UK, and also very valued and important suppliers to government. So it's fantastic to be here. It's fantastic to hear about how well Cisco's doing, to hear about IBM's expansion. That is music to my ears. But we've also got a fantastic audience, as David said. Businesses large and small, very important, universities and government. And can I also, in terms of my thanks to Karen, thank my officials as well who worked tirelessly with all of you to make this happen, because I don't think people necessarily do fully appreciate the time pressure, as it were, self-imposed time pressure, but we set a very tight deadline to achieve what we're announcing tonight, and that involved an enormous amount of hard work from some very good people. So what I'm now fond of saying, I've sort of moved into the skills agenda as I've taken over the sort of digital economy brief more and more, and I'm fond of saying that actually digital is changing education, and I don't actually mean by that MOOCs and so on and online learning. What I mean is that because digital is pervading not just the digital industries, but every industry you care to think of, because it is now so important, but because it is changing so rapidly, we can't simply carry on doing education in the same way. You can't just disappear inside a university or a further education college and then come out with your degrees and qualifications without having experienced the world of work. And you're not going to experience the world of work simply to get a good line on your CV or to make contact with a potential future employer. In the digital world, you're now going to experience the world of work as part of your education. And you're not going to come out fully qualified, in my view, in terms of digital skills, unless you've been working with an employer. And that's why these new degree apprenticeships are so pioneering and so important, because they're going to give our students the kind of high-level skills that employers so desperately need. We're talking about creating potentially 1 million digital jobs over the next 10 years. And these degree apprenticeships have been put together with some 20 employers who've come to the table. You're going to hear from some of them shortly about their huge enthusiasm and excitement about these degrees. And that's just not government propaganda. They're genuinely excited because they understand the difference it's going to make to the quality of graduates they're going to be able to recruit. But it is 2/3 funded by government, 1/3 funded by employers. It's a financial partnership, but it's also an education partnership. And they're going to start in September 2015, and hundreds of students are going to get the opportunity to take advantage. And we hope that as part of the launch tonight, we're going to encourage a lot more employers to come on board. The other thing we're announcing tonight are the digital skills short courses. So again, the tech partnership has come together to set the standards to accredit this new high quality training, which is going to come into being from April next year. And these are intensive short courses to give people working in business the kind of skills they need to participate in this digital economy, whether that's building a website, other technical business skills, interpersonal skills that will enable them to flourish as individuals and for their businesses to innovate and grow. So I know that Karen and others and some of the employers we're going to hear from, and indeed some of the young people, are going to urge you to join up and join in, and I hope that people will, because I think what has been achieved really is truly astounding. We've worked, as I say, to a very tight timescale, but for me, the real pioneering is this blending of universities and employers to work together to create what is, I think, potentially a world first in terms of how we approach digital education. So thank you to everyone who's made this happen. I'm sorry I can't stay for the whole event. It is, we haven't brought in electronic voting back in Parliament, so I have to be physically there to vote and also take part in the debate. But I'm really pleased to have been here with you at the start of this evening's events. Thank you very much.
So thank you, Minister. Really appreciate that, and thank you for taking the time. I think those things we'll talk a little bit more about as we go on this evening, but the apprenticeship, degree apprenticeship, and also the digital short courses are really something we believe will make a fundamental difference, not only to the supply system, but to the way that employers are able to engage with the education system and with the skills environment. So thank you very much, the Minister. What we wanted to do, we're all here, the people who are passionate, and I know many of you are passionate about skills in the areas you're involved in. We're typically passionate because we see the effect of what it has in our children and the real lives that are changed by young people. So it's a pleasure for me to introduce you on video at the moment to just some of those young people.
My name is Leela. I'm 11 years old and I go to Tech Feature Girls. It's just really fun. You can find loads of different ways to make things. I would never have really done it before, by myself, but now I've kind of had the opportunity to do it.
My name's George Gill, I'm 13 and I'm in GCSE Computing. We've been studying the Social Media Command Centre, which has been teaching us about the business use of social media.
My name is Ted Joshi and I'm studying Information Management for Business here at UCL. The main thing that I took advantage of was a networking event. So for example, the other day we had Credit Suisse come over, Accenture came over, Microsoft came over, and we got a real insight as to how their kind of working life is.
I'm Clement, I'm 18 and I'm currently working as an apprentice with Accenture. I have always been interested in technology. I've spent many years fiddling around with it, learning at home with it, and I wanted to be able to take it further into a career that I'd really, really enjoy.
My favourite part of the lesson was having to actually think about the social media uses and the commercial use for social media. The core ICT's basic computer skills, whereas this is preparing you for life in a job with technology. Yeah, I'm considering a career in games designing and games programming.
On my course, everyone is very like-minded. Everyone is striving to be the best that they can be. And with this degree, everyone kind of gets to know the different employers and which literally gets that one step ahead of everyone else that doesn't do the degree, because we have the skill set that we need to kind of get into the working world.
What I've really enjoyed is, within a couple of weeks of getting onto my placement and my project, being given huge amounts of responsibility and being trusted with really, really, really important deadlines and jobs to do. It feels brilliant. The amount of responsibility I've been given is absolutely fantastic, and how everyone's so happy to help us learn and teach us information is absolutely brilliant.
I like the independence that you get, because no one's telling you to rush something. You can do it at your own pace. It's really good because it's not just boys can do it, but it's all girls as well. It's a good opportunity and it's really fun. And yeah, it's just great to do. If you care about our digital future, join the Tech Partnership.
Join the Tech Partnership.
I'll definitely encourage you to join the Tech Partnership.
Join the Tech Partnership.
What it's all about. I mean, the fact that you can connect emotionally to what you saw on the screen there, to know that you were part of bringing that to fruition is just makes you really proud, doesn't it? And that's actually what we need to drive forward, because we're not going to get 1 million new jobs by 2025 unless we actually drive that through the whole education system. The boys and girls you saw up there were inspirational, but actually they wouldn't be there if it wasn't for the people that actually helped them get there. So I'd like to welcome up on stage Laura Pierce, who's the head of ICT for and computing and e-strategy. That's a big job, yeah. That's more jobs than I've got. At St. Luke's Science and Sports College. Jane Burns, who's the senior teaching fellow in marketing at UCL. Jag, was it Jag? Jag. You know, a course that we built. you know, and that you teach. It's fantastic. And Emma McGinn for Accenture? Great. Thank you. So, I mean, bit of an interactive sort of segue. I can pretend to be Paxman or something like that. A gentle one, gentle one. So Laura, what we saw up there was kind of Tech Future coming alive in lots of different ways. So you're using the Tech Future classroom resources to help develop that. Maybe you could just share a bit of what's that like and how you use it?
So can you all hear me okay? Yeah, so George, it was really nice to see George up there. It was a very proud moment kind of watching him. We're using that with our GCSE computing students, and I think what's kind of key to remember is that for a lot of students who are this year, so academic year starting 2014, who are taking GCSE computing, because the curriculum has changed, this is a brand new subject for them. So if we think back to the traditional kind of picking of options for students in year 9, they normally pick an option that they're either good at or they like, or a combination of the two. But for GCSE computing, because the curriculum changes have only just been implemented, there are so many students in year 10 who are taking a GCSE in computer science, and they've never studied it before. So they've got no prior learning, they've got no prior attainment. So as a teacher, it's really valuable to have resources that are exciting, that are interesting, and are based about real people and real jobs, because actually it shows those students who, some of whom, depending on the kind of school that you work in and geographically where that school is, they might not have a real grasp of what jobs actually exist out there to do with technology. When careers advisors come into our school, we're still in the process of them, if a student is good at maths, for example, then they'd be a great accountant. There's no other options for them. And for something like this, it's so important that we encourage children who are good at computing, not necessarily maths. They don't have to be good at maths to be good at computing. They might be a great software designer, or they might be a good games designer or an app designer. That doesn't mean they have to be good at other things as well. So for this, it's brilliant because they can see real jobs of real people, and if they've led kind of fairly sheltered lifestyle and they've never studied this before, it's a great way of them seeing opportunities that are available to them.
One of the other great things that I'm very sort of connected to is the whole diversity challenge that we have, and the Tech Future Clubs for Girls. You run that at Exeter?
Yeah, we run that as well. Again, it empowers our younger girls in particular to do things that, again, aren't necessarily part of the curriculum. And again, that's changing. So we're now implementing things for those children who perhaps have never studied those things before. But for those girls, again, we educate them that actually there is a shortage of girls within that industry. And they don't necessarily realise that because, again, they're not told that. And we're encouraging them to have skills that they've never tried doing things like that before. And sometimes you get the boys saying, well, why isn't this for us? and it's a fair question, but actually when we say to them, when we explain and we show them the resources and say, actually, you know, there's lots of men in this room, let alone in this industry, you know, and so for the girls, it's a good opportunity. Not only does it empower them and kind of make them more confident, but it shows them that actually these jobs do exist and they're able to do them.
Yeah, and one of the great things from an employer perspective is actually how you can get your own people engaged in this and get out into schools, help people develop, and it's a real partnership thing, isn't it? It's really great.
And also from a teaching perspective, again, we've got lots of traditionally kind of ICT or e-safety teachers who are not necessarily trained to do computing, and it's a big difference. There's a real difference between teaching a child how to word process a letter and how to make a nice PowerPoint. Most of them can do that when they come up to us from primary school now. So again, there's a shift in skills, and they need to be taught more sophisticated things. So when they come to us now and they're learning about computing, as a teacher, it's really nice to have a set of resources that we know are current, are up to date, and also tie in with the modern curriculum, but also they're things that are prepared for us. So if we're not 100% confident with what we're teaching, that will come in time, but those resources they're good to go, and they're exciting and they're current.
And they work.
They do work.
They work, that's fantastic. And Tej seemed pretty enthusiastic about his ITMB course.
Oh, absolutely. The ITMB program, or the IMB as we call it at UCL, is a massively successful program. We've got about a 50-50 gender balance on the students who come through. This year, we've recruited 180 students. We've exceeded our limits yet again. Rooming will be a problem. Wow. The relationship with the ITMB program, with the employers, is absolutely critical to everything that we do. They're meeting with employers all the time. They're undertaking projects with employers all the time. And within each of the individual modules, the courseworks are all designed around the needs of the employers and real-world experience. This is not academia, ivory tower behaviours. These are integrated programs where students are working in the real world all of the time. And what they're doing is they're coming out of these programs work ready.
Yeah, and we can see that. We take people straight in and they're instantly productive. It's fantastic to see. And of course, there's a 100% employment record out of these courses. So compare that to some of the other degree courses that you see around and just think about how valuable this is. So the last part of that we saw was around the whole thing around Tech Future Gold Apprenticeships, which you've been running at Accenture, really trying to bring in some high-quality talent.
Yes, and I'm delighted actually to say that Clement, from the video, is actually here tonight, so you can ask him face-to-face whether he was honest on the video or not.
You haven't been right, have you?
We are, I mean, as an organisation, and I know there's many organisations represented here tonight who feel the same, that we need to really look at the diversity of talent, the channels that we're bringing young people into the organisation. We, you know, organisations, professional services organisations, we need to reflect the diversity of our clients, and that's changing, and it's changing all the time. But we also need to address where we're bringing talent in from. And although it's great that we've got programs like you talk about from UCL, and we do bring great graduates in, it's also about spreading that and looking at different ways to bring those skills and provide our young people with different opportunities in the industry. And for us, we built our original apprenticeship program up in the Northeast. We've just extended through the Gold Apprenticeship Scheme into the Southeast, and we brought 41 young apprentices in September, and it's been great. And to have the government sponsoring the whole step to the higher apprenticeship scheme as well, I think this is really where we all need to be facing.
Brilliant, brilliant. Well, we wouldn't have inspirational children coming through the system if we didn't have inspirational leaders like yourself. So well done, thank you. So what's the kind of the summation of that? Is that these are programs that are absolutely ready for employers. They can come in and we can take them. The thing here is it's not a single program. It's not a single intervention. It's a series of interventions in parallel across different parts of the education program. It's something that we have to work together to make sure that we move that forward. It's life-changing for these children. It's actually critical business for us. Because if we don't get this right, if we don't intervene at all of these different periods, at all these different points, then we won't see the talent coming through, and as an economy, we'll suffer. So I think the message was, join in, join up, get on. I think that's the right thing to do.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, David. And I think, you know, hearing from people who are really in practice and doing this on the ground is very inspiring. And I think, you know, credit to what they've actually delivered. But I think, you know, I'd also like to say that just by way of maybe a broader introduction to the tech partnership, you know, this is for me as an employer, probably the most critical issue I have to deal with over the next 10 years will be the battle for skills. I think the companies who will be successful in the future will be the companies who attract the best skills and the best capabilities. And as a country, we have to do the same. And I think what we have in the tech partnership is a set of employers, an increasing number of employers, big and small, who have a common vision and who genuinely believe, have the resources in many cases, the capability, the ambition, and the drive to really make a difference. And I think that's the important part of the tech partnership. Yes, you know, it's come from a government initiative to have employee ownership, and that's a great thing. I think employers should own and be responsible for delivering the skills that they need. And you've heard from, you know, Accenture and from others and from David talking about the fact he can take people. That's because he and Accenture have taken the opportunity to go in and get stuck in and get involved. And that's an important part of the tech partnership, is that we've got people who genuinely want to make a real difference. Because actually what we really want to do is we want to create new talent, we want to create new jobs, and we want to create new skills. And that's important for the tech partnership to be able to do those things. The new talent is in a growing pipeline of motivated and well-prepared people really who are seeking digital careers. We want people who want to be in the digital space, and that's going to require role models to be able to be out there. You're both male and female, particularly female as we know, to go out and say, actually, this is an interesting industry to be part of. I think we need to create new jobs We genuinely believe that as a tech partnership, we can create a million jobs in the digital industry over the next 10 years. That's very exciting. That by 2025, we've got 1 million new jobs, fundamentally changing the nature of this economy in one of the fastest growing spaces and an area we have real skill in the UK. And new skills, of course, business being responsive to education and actually looking at where the employers can set the standards, can help the organizations who are delivering this capability to know that if they do something to the quality that the employers have set, they will actually be taking those people onto their books and they'll be able to get a fast start in it. That's very important. But one of the things that we all get frustrated about as employers, I know, and I'm sure many of you do as well, is the amount of fragmentation in this space. It's about, you know, all the little initiatives that do great things, but they're generally little initiatives who are doing great little things. And I think we've got an opportunity here not to quell anybody's enthusiasm, not to stop people doing things, but to say, how can we bring that together and use the capabilities we have as sometimes larger employers, but certainly as a group together to actually make things happen? How can we make smaller companies want to do apprenticeships and maybe they wouldn't either think of or be capable of doing and be helped by bigger companies to do that? How can we pull together as a partnership and have much greater impact to genuinely give true leadership, which is what we need to do over the next number of years? It's a very exciting opportunity. And I think, you know, my personal view is that we genuinely need to do this as an industry and to not delegate responsibility or point fingers at the fact that maybe we're not getting exactly what we want from a university or a school or anything else, a further education college. We need to get out there and get involved. And I think we've just had a meeting earlier on, not only with Ed Vaizey, who's kind enough to come along, but Nick Bowles came along to our board meeting we had before, hugely enthusiastic, keen for us to tell him what we should be pushing out of the way and what we really need to do to get things done. And of course, we pushed back and said, of course, when you announce things, you need to reinforce the fact that you've put money into a tech partnership and you're genuinely trying to make things happen. So don't go announcing other things. Tell us about how you can consolidate them into, you know, one area that we can all get behind. So again, I don't for 1 minute want to stop the enthusiasm, the excitement, and the capability that many smaller organizations have, but I want them to be in part of a much bigger wave that can really make a difference. So it's very excited we're doing that. So we really want to be as inclusive as we possibly can. We want to be as excited as we possibly can. We want to be ambitious as we possibly can. And we want you to join in and get involved. So if there's one thing you take away from tonight and you look at those things that have been announced, and we can explain a bit more about these degree apprenticeships, which are a fundamental change to the way that things will be done. As the Minister said, with funding that allows people to potentially do a degree while being engaged with an employer, very much like an apprenticeship, but to do an actual honours degree and come out at the end of that. Very exciting. And for these smaller, you know, bite-sized courses, if you will, to be able to be delivered through a number of vehicles, including further education, to actually get people up to the level of skills that they need to do. Very practical things being done in a very short time. We're very excited about what they're going to be delivering. So please get involved, do join in, pass on the word, keep reinforcing the tech partnership, I think, is something that we all want to be part of. And if it's not doing what you want it to do, tell us, because we want to do the right thing as employers to drive the skill base here in the UK. So thank you very much for coming on this evening. I was going to hand over to Karen now, because Karen was going to just facilitate a little session where we talk to maybe some of the employers who have been involved and are involved in the tech partnership and get a little sense of what it means to them. So Karen.
Thanks very much, Phil. Thank you all. Now, this isn't particularly rehearsed, but what we want to do is, you're obviously going to hear from a small number of speakers, and you've heard from those fabulous young people and the people that inspire and lead them. But this is a very inclusive partnership, and there's a lot of people that are inside it. Ask a few people on the floor to make a contribution and tell us very briefly about the work they're doing with the tech partnership. So I have no idea where anybody is, but Christine, you're going to start us off. Yep. And a microphone is mysteriously going to arrive.
Okay, thank you, Karen. My name's Christine Hodgson. I'm the Exec Chairman of Capgemini in the UK, and I'm also a board member of Tech Partnership. We're involved in this because we're absolutely committed to exciting young people and giving young people as many opportunities as possible to have a career in tech. I think one of the most exciting things, and you've heard it, and if you go away without only one number in your head tonight, we really do believe that we can create 1 million new jobs in the digital jobs by 2025. And I think that's something that everybody should embrace because, as you've all heard, there is a real shortage of digital skills. One of the great things about what you heard from the Minister is the degree apprenticeship scheme. And one thing that I'm delighted to be able to announce, that already, as a result of this collaboration between the Tech Partnership and government, we've already got 163 jobs starting in September 2015. So as a result of the work between the 14 organisations as part of the partnership and government and 8 universities, we've got 163 so far, and we're just at base camp. So I would urge all of you to get involved, to learn more about it, to sign up to this initiative and other initiatives of the Tech Partnership, because it really is something that if we do it together, then we'll certainly have more impact. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Christine.
Thank you so much. Hi. Hi, yeah, I'm from BT, and we're working as part of the group of companies within the Tech Partnership that's focused on employability skills, particularly for computer science graduates. And as a group, we're acutely aware that these highly technical, very specialist graduates often don't get the opportunity to develop some of their communication or project management capability, which of course is incredibly important for landing a job and being successful in the workplace. So we're really excited to be part of the group that is working as a collaboration to build a MOOC that we know will address these issues and make a difference for these graduates. So it's very exciting and a great privilege for us to be involved. So thank you very much.
Hello, Mark Durney from HMRC. I'm the Chief Digital and Information Officer. And you might not think of HMRC as a digital or a technology business, but we do have one of the largest events every year that you all file with. So just a quick advert, it's nearly time. And please don't leave it to the last day, because it's a long night for some of us. But around that, so what I'm really passionate about, and the reason I'm involved with the Tech Partnership, is around developing skills and creating this pipeline. We've talked all the way through from primary school all the way through to university. And what I'm particularly pleased at is how the Tech Partnership is working with BCS to actually take those skills forward so that we can create with Sophia an open standard of skills that allows us to look at people, then develop their career paths, and that's something they can take between employers and throughout their lives. And even more exciting is that the next release that's coming out will include the digital skills we're looking for and also the cyber skills. And for someone working in government, where this is of huge importance to the whole national agenda, I think it's a really exciting thing for us to be doing. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. Hi, everyone. I'm Carenza Jennings. I'm Head of Strategic Delivery at the BBC. I'm here tonight to tell you a little bit about what we're doing working with you. So last year, our Director General said that we want to inspire a new generation to get creative with coding, programming, and digital technology. Now, in that film, which was really lovely, we heard the children, the calls to arms, the boys and the girls saying, if you care about our digital future. Well, we care about our digital future, and that's why we're doing this. We want to use the power of our brands to inspire mainstream audiences and for our younger audiences to help inspire them to turn the dial on digital skills. working with the Tech Partnership in close collaboration, we want to find ways of unlocking those opportunities, of unlocking the opportunities for parents, for teachers, and for young people to help navigate the complex ecosystem of the digital resources. It's absolutely fantastic. There are so many resources out there, but it's incredibly difficult to find them. We want to work with you to identify what are the skills that you're missing, and how can we help people find those means and resources to get those skills. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Karen. Hi, I'm Yogesh Chauhan from Tata Consultancy Services. We've got a particular interest, and again, what the film showed and what some of our speakers talked about, is connecting with young people in schools and the power of us as employees going into schools and inspiring young people. And we've experimented with this for the last year, and we've decided that actually there is a huge potential in getting more and more of our employees involved in it. So I'm really pleased to announce that we are working with, and we're going to be investing with the Tech Partnership, together with a charitable organization which some of you might be aware of called STEMnet, to deliver a program that is going to be available as widely as possible to as many employees with a tech background as possible to get involved. We will provide a systematic method to train and support those individuals, to provide the points at which they can connect with schools, to go in and work with young people. So it's hugely exciting. We hope to reach hundreds of schools and support lots and lots of young people and inspire them into careers, and also understanding the value of technology in whatever career choice they might make. Thank you.
Hi, good evening. My name is Jackie Ferguson. I'm the Managing Director for Hewlett-Packard Enterprise Services in the UK and Ireland and Middle East, Mediterranean and Africa. Lucky me. I am very proud to say that I'm a member of the Tech Partnership Board. I think it's a wonderful organisation targeted with doing some really class stuff in the industry. Let me tell you a little bit about what HP is doing with the Tech Partnership. HP, BT, Oracle, and National Grid have teamed together to really work on the bringing more girls into the industry. And we've sponsored the Computer Club for Girls, so Tech Future for Girls. And I'm sort of personally passionate about that. I have 3 teenage daughters. And I think it's a real tragedy we don't have more children, more girls in particular, getting into the industry. And the facts tell us if we don't catch them before they're 12 years old, they've already decided it's really not very interesting, and they'll leave it to the nerdy geeky boys. And actually, the truth is, the future of the tech industry is really much more about creativity, transformation, digitization, which needs a different set of skills from maybe the ones that we might have needed 10 years ago. So I think it's an exciting time in our industry to really put the foot down on attracting more young girls into the industry, because I think they'll fill a skills gap that's a new and developing skills gap as well as the traditional one. Thank you.
Hello, my name's David Dunn. I'm the Chief Exec of Sunderland Software City, and we're a business support organisation supporting the growth of the digital sector in the northeast of England. And that's 1,400 software companies across the northeast, right from the very small to the very large in Sage. And all of them, to a T, stress that the single biggest inhibiting factor to their growth is access to skilled people. So working alongside the Tech Partnership, we've created a Northeast Tech Partnership Hub. And one of the manifestations of that is to create a skills board. And the first thing that skills board said is, there are too many people self-deselecting from moving into the industry. So we had to do something about it. And I'm proud to announce one of the first things that we've started to do is teacher CPD, taking teachers into businesses. And it's amazing what can happen when you bring forward-thinking teachers into innovative businesses. Kids can really learn that there is an industry and a career for them to work into. And we hope to share those lessons through the Tech Partnership, through the Cisco's NVI, and through the Digital Catapult. Thanks.
That's brilliant. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Karen. Hi, I'm Tracy Herald, and I'm Head of Community at O2. One of the things that O2 is really passionate about is supporting young people to be their digital best. So we're really excited to be working with the Tech Partnership to create an open badge academy. And the academy really is designed to bring together so many of the great programs that you've already been hearing about this evening, and create opportunities for young people to participate in those programs, but then secure digital badges and credits that recognise the learning that they've gained through participating in these programs and really help them on that journey to employment. So the great thing absolutely about the partnership is collaboration, and we feel that the Academy is a great way to bring businesses together with all of their great learning materials and programs, surfacing those in a way that's relevant and interesting and exciting for young people, and actually also creating a potential talent pool for the future for all of us. So we're really excited to be involved. Thanks, Karen.
Thank you for the plug. So my name's Avid. I used to be an engineer. I'm now a partner at Google Ventures, but I'm really here because of the Hour of Code, which is a campaign I'm leading in the UK. It's a global campaign to demystify what coding is about, to demystify that it's only for geeks and boys, but it actually is accessible to anyone who wants to try it, and especially girls as well. So we have had, so far, thanks to the help from the Tech Partnership, over 3 million people in the UK who have done an hour of code. And an hour of code is anything around coding. We provide tutorials that are very easy to do with Angry Birds and Elsa from Frozen that are accessible to children from 6 to 106. We're pushing the campaign this year globally with the US, African countries, South American countries, Asian countries, all the week of December 8th. So everyone's organizing events where people will be doing an hour of code. We have over 700 schools, teachers who've signed up in the UK to do it that week. And that's, again, thanks to the Tech Partnership and the resources that they have. But we're also working with employers, including the BBC and the Magical Carenzo, who is organizing in each of their offices an hour of code for their employees to do. Microsoft is doing the same thing. Microsoft is a tech company, but they have a lot of non-tech people, and they want to teach the parents and the children an hour of code. So I'm hoping that you will want to be involved, for those of you who are not. If you do, please talk to anyone at the Tech Partnership or myself. Otherwise, I will come and pester you to do so. Thank you very much.
But if any of us, small or large, could out to parents of young people that, you know, this isn't the strange thing that they're scared of and it's a dark art and my child doesn't study it and I don't know about it. And let's start embracing it, all of us as a nation. So I'm going to be writing to you all tomorrow and you're going to have that link to that website. So that's given you just a flavour of the many, many people that are working with the Tech Partnership. That is just the beginning. I want to just add my thanks to everybody here, all the employers supporting, all the university schools and everybody else. And I also just want to echo what the Minister said. I also want to say a special, special thank you to what he called his officials. The people in Biz have been absolutely fabulous helping us as the Tech Partnership to bring some of our ideas to reality. Those degree apprenticeships, so for the first time ever, you can go to university and have 2/3 of your degree funded. I mean, what a breakthrough that is, and what a difference that's going to make to the pipeline of young talent into our sector. So a very special thank you to the Biz officials for supporting the partnership. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. I think you'll all agree, a tremendous example of what exactly the partnership's about. A whole series of people talking about initiatives they wanted to drive and have passion about, but doing them alongside everyone else in the Tech Partnership and scaling them up to a level previously maybe not possible. So we wanted now just to share just a few minutes some of the people who put particular effort into this, which is some of the board members of the Tech Partnership, and just to get their perspective on this, we're going to run a short video. Slightly dodgy kickoff at the beginning of this video, but other than that, it's great. You know, so.
Technology is extremely important for economic growth. Technology already contributes a significant part of the gross value add for the UK, in fact around 6%. So our opportunity to grow that for the future is extremely compelling.
The UK is an attractive economy anyway, but if we can really harness the technology and digital skills that are innate actually in our young people, then I think we have a real opportunity to show leadership in the next generation of innovation.
I think that technology is important because it will drive economic growth in the UK. It's not only important to the tech sector, but it permeates every level of job in the economy.
If we can excite youngsters, get them trained and funnel them into the digital industries, we will grow our economy. Youngsters will have well-paid and very interesting work.
At National Grid, we've got apprenticeships, we've got people that have come through the Tech Partnership's IT MB degree, and now they're in the workplace working away. And to know that you were part of creating that is something that's really rather special.
One of the things the Tech Partnership's going to do is focus on gender. One of the difficulties we have of getting women into roles in IT is they're not starting the right subjects far enough back in the education process.
It's frankly embarrassing that we have such light representation for women in the technology industry in the UK, and we need to do something fundamental about that.
We need to do campaigns, we need to work with universities, we need to work with the government and with schools to change that demographic.
Tech is the foundation of so much of what we consume, see and use. It's 11% of the jobs already in the UK economy. It's the future, and girls are half the population, so they have to be there.
I think it's really exciting what the Tech Partnership's going to do for the UK and its entire kind of skills sector. Working with the academics, we can really make sure that the training that is being delivered is relevant and that people come out of education with skills that make them really employable and that they can find really exciting jobs.
The critical thing I think that the Tech Partnership needs to do over the next 5 years is to raise the standards. As employers, we need to set those standards, and then we need to allow the training providers and the students and the young people to develop the skills so that we have high-quality people who can fit the needs of the modern workplace in the 21st century.
In the Met Police, it's vital that we stay ahead of the game in areas such as cybersecurity. That's why we're using the Tech Partnership to help us bring in new graduates with those skills to help us lead and train others in the Met in this important area.
I think there's a real risk for the UK if we don't harness the skills, the best skills that we have here in the UK, and that will be that we're outcompeted. The investment that other economies are making in training and standards means that we risk losing out on the opportunities in areas like big data, the Internet of Things. So the emphasis has got to be on harnessing what we've got and making sure we're fit to compete.
I like being part of the Tech Partnership because whilst in business we may be competitors, when you actually get around that table to talk about talent in the UK, we all have a single aim.
It's the first time I've seen different companies, the government, IT suppliers all come together to try and tackle a problem that is a common problem for the country.
I'd love as many employers as possible to join the Tech Partnership. I genuinely believe you'll gain value from it. It really is the most strategic issue you can address. And along with the employers who are already an incredibly active part, we really can make a difference to the world of skills.
Refreshments outside there, so if you like